Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Chagema. I am a research assistant at the African Center for Technology Studies, and I'm also the community manager for the Green and Digital Innovation Hub. Thank you so much for joining us for this Youth Stats and Trends webinar in Kenya. Just a bit about the gDIH. The gDIH is the Green and Digital Innovation Hub. It's a one-stop that deals with MSMEs and innovators to advance green and digital solutions and innovations in Kenya. We do this by offering support in terms of access to finance, skills development, ecosystem development, amongst other services that we offer within our hub. That's just a brief overview of what the gDIH does. So today we are here to discuss more about the youth stats and trends in Kenya. And I'd like to invite the main speaker for today, Mr. Simon Mwangi of JHUB.
About what you do at gDIH. So my name is Simon Mwangi, and I work at JHUB Africa. I deal with strategic partnerships and product management. And basically, JHUB Africa is a digital innovation hub, and we are based at Jomo Kenyatta University of Agriculture and Technology. That is a Juja campus, and we are at the School of Computing. And we work to convert ideas into impactful solutions. So the main reason why JHUB was birthed was, if you look at the current market in Kenya, it takes roughly 5 years for a graduate to be able to get a job in Kenya. So many students who are going through the graduation period, they do projects, but what happens to those projects that they are doing? And Dr. Lawrence Ndero is our founder, who is also the chairman of the department. And he came up with the idea of birthing JHUB so that we can be able to cater for the ideas, also cater for any person who may have an idea and want to convert that idea into an impactful solution. The JHUB Africa is the place to be. So at JHUB Africa, we have 5 key pillars. We have climate smart agriculture, we have digital transformation, we have digital trade, we have digital twin models. So those are basically the, I would say, the key pillars that we have here at JHUB Africa. So we not only work with students, we also work with the industry, trying to bridge that gap between academia and industry. And we all know that innovation cannot thrive in isolation. So we believe in the power of collaborations, we believe in the power of partnerships, and we believe that the current youth are and will be, and today is their time for them to showcase what they can actually do. So thank you so much, Brandon. I think I'll take it back to you to take us through the session.
Yeah, thank you very much, Simon. Simon today is our main speaker, and what we have tried to do at the gDIH, as much as we also work with MSMEs and innovators, we also work with the youth. And we, like I said, that one of the key functions of the gDIH is one of the 4 pillars. There's the pillar for access to finance, where we provide finance pathways. We don't provide finance, but we provide finance pathways to MSMEs, innovators, youth, and women. We also do skills development, and this can be carbon credits, ESG, and amongst other things as well. There's also ecosystem development, where we also try to match the right players with the right individuals around the system. And last but not least, we have testing facilities, whereby we match innovators with testing institutions such as JQuat, such as JUST around the country. And this can also help innovators advance their products, advance their innovations as well. So today, what we have been trying to do over the past 1 year is try and get statistics from all over the country in terms of what youth want, what youth are saying, some of the things that youth are also complaining about, some of the things that youth would like to bring up. such that it can also advance their future, because we also have to think about, as much as we're thinking about the present, we also have to think about the future as well. And so what we have done at the gDIH is try and come up with a bit of statistics over the past 1 year, sort of like a piloting phase. And we have come out with 3 statistics so far that the main speaker will go through just in brief. And this shall be sent out to you as well after the webinar, together with the recording. So I'd like to hand it back over to Simon, and you can briefly and also comprehensively take us through the Youth Stats and Trends statistics. Thank you.
So thank you very much, Brandon, for that. So I'll let me present the presentation. I hope it's visible.
Yes, we can see your screen, Simon.
Okay. So just a moment. Yeah. So let me take it through. So basically, we are trying to understand the Kenyan youth in terms of what the youth statistics and trends. So basically, if you look at the first issue that was brought about, it looked at the aspirations and what the ambitious youth in this digital age, and what they can be able to actually do, as I may say. So if you look at okay, just a moment. Sorry for that. So I hope I'm still the presentation is still visible.
Yes, it is.
Okay. So okay. So when you look at the first issue, the issue is on aspirations. That is the digital shifts and how the youth are actually showing up today. So if you look at the one thing that really stands out, is that the Kenyan youth are incredibly ambitious. They're incredibly ambitious, and if you look at the drive, is that half of the youth want to run their own businesses. What does that tell you? That tells you that the youth are actually hungry. They're actually hungry to be able to, looking at what is happening currently with the uptake of AI and the uptake of such things as IoT and machine learning. I believe the youth are actually very hungry in terms of wanting to actually pursue the current state of what is happening. So as I present, I'd like to actually point out that 71% actually plan to start something within the next 5 years. If you ask those youth, the youth who are currently maybe say in Kenya or in Africa, they actually want to start something within the next, that is 71% of them. That tells you that something in this generation wants control over their economic lives. So if you look at the spaces where these youth are, they are actually in the digital work, they are actually in tech, others are in content creation, others are doing mobile applications, online freelancing. So, but at the same time, there's one reality check, whereby there are certain barriers, and these barriers would say we have access to capital and corruption. Those are some of the key I would say barriers according to the first issue, where when you look at access to capital, primary barrier cited by at least half of the potential entrepreneurs. So this is very key, especially when as I take you back to maybe our innovators within our ecosystem. This, I would say, is one of the key areas where, as you may well know, that for any venture to move to the next stage, you actually need funds, you actually need capital. So this is one of the key barriers that are there according to the first issue. The second one, I would say, is on corruption. It was cited that 40% of youth cited that corruption is a significant barrier. Sorry about the noise. The next one would be, and beyond the economics, there's one issue that says that the youth are becoming more climate aware. So if you look at climate conscious youth, 73% of them say our future generations, 69% personal harm, and 81% actually on government action. So they want brands that walk the talk. If you talk to the youth, and they also want fairness and they hate misinformation. If you look at what happened last year during the so-called Gen Z protests, these were some of the issues that they were trying to bring about in the finance bill. And I would say these are actually issues that needs to be addressed, and they are demands that they want to actually be addressed for them to be able to move forward. So this tells us that we are dealing with a generation that is both entrepreneurial and socially conscious. So basically, that is a brief overview of the first issue. If you look at the second issue, this was on the employment crisis. This was basically goes deeper into employment, and it's where the struggle becomes more visible, as you can see. Every year, about 500,000 young people enter the job market. And from the 500,000 people, if you look at 15%, 15% roughly translates to around 75,000 people. That only means 75,000 people are only the ones who actually have access to, I'd say, the stable jobs. What happens to the rest of the 425,000? So taking it back to what we are doing at JHUB Africa, we are trying to encourage the students, especially the ones who are in the first year, second year. When we change our curricula, we change our curricula to focus on this 21st century design, whereby we are trying to have them work on different projects early enough, so that by the time they get to the point that they are graduating, you already say have a startup, or you have an idea about what you're going to do after you graduate. So that is basically part of what we are trying to do at JHUB. And if you ask what the young people are saying, it's not that they don't want to work. It's because that the opportunities are not just there. And if you lack opportunities, it becomes a big problem actually for them. So they sort to other ways of actually sustaining their lives. So many of them are turning to side hustles, and because they have to survive eventually. So some of the key challenges that they are going through, as I said, we have the nepotism that is favors based on relationships rather than merit. We have network barriers, that is limited access to professional connections. And we also have economic pressure, that is need for additional income sources. So basically, they are adapting to side hustles, informal networks, skill development, and path adaptation. So what are they currently trying to do? But there's something that is very interesting that is coming about with the coming of TVETs, and they're actually on the rise. What used to be seen as an alternative path for the TVETs is that it's now becoming the more practical choice, according to the second issue. And the enrollment of TVETs is actually rising. It's going up. The training periods are actually shorter, and the youth are actually getting work faster because the skills are more hands-on. So if you look at the advantages, is that they have shorter training, faster employment, hands-on skills, and there's also the growing enrollment. Fast forward now, going to the third issue. Now the big question comes about are government programs making a difference? So we actually have different government projects. The key ones, according to the third issue, we have the Ajira Digital, we have the Kenya Youth Enterprise Support, Youth Enterprise Development Fund. We also have the Climate Change Adaptation. And some of these programs actually have real impact if you look at it. And like, for example, Ajira has been able to reach over 1 million young people. And you can also say the Kenya Youth Enterprise Support has supported over 300,000 youth. And they are, like, the climate change adaptation is actually scaling. But despite all this, the youth are still feeling that there's a certain sense of frustration as a result of this, because there's that misdivide whereby they're getting support, but the support is actually fragmented. What I mean by fragmented is that there's no single integrated system that actually holds this young person hands from the skills actually to the opportunities, and then to financing, and actually up to the mentorship. You find that maybe there's support in one area, but there's no support in the other area. So this needs to be integrated in the sense that there's actually support using that pathway of skills, opportunities, financing, and actually mentorship. So this data issue shows that the youth want something very simple. They want consistency, they want transparency, and they want accountability. Once you were able to meet their demands, I think would be actually at par with what they have. So when some of the youth were asked some of where government should spend more money, I'm sure most of them would say you start with job creation, because most of them actually want jobs. We are graduating so many students, but we are getting into a path that looks like a bottleneck, whereby we are graduating so many people, but we get to a job market where there are actually no jobs. And that's why we need to think ahead, think of innovations, think of things that the youth can actually work on, become their own employer as we move forward. Because the harsh reality is that the job market is currently flooded, and we have there are not so many jobs that the youth can actually get into once they graduate. So what do these three issues, if I look at it in a nutshell? So I spoke about the consistency, transparency, and integrated support that the youth actually want. And if you look at those are some of the challenges that the youth are actually speaking about. That is uneven opportunities, locked capital, scattered support, and misaligned pathways. So if you look at the three issues in a nutshell, is that the young people are not the problem. And they are actually motivated, they are talented, they are creative and resilient. They just want a pathway, a way that they can be able to actually either do their projects or actually get employment. And the problem is actually the ecosystem around them. So they would say opportunities are uneven, and support is scattered, and capital is locked away. I think with the right data and with the right policies, I would say we can turn this generation into a real engine of innovation and transformation. So that's part of my presentation. So thank you so much, Brandon, for that opportunity.
Thank you so much, Simon, for that. Thank you for the very, very comprehensive presentation. I think it's also better we understand the current state of youth affairs in Kenya, what's really going on, because it's more than just percentages. It's also what's being heard on the ground, and these are some of the issues that we wanted to discuss today.
Very
so I think from here, I think I'd like to also get a bit more insight from you regarding some of the youth insights, or rather youth stats that you've just discussed. So on your take, what do you think is the biggest challenge facing youth today?
That's a very good question, considering that the youth are for today, and they're actually the future. So for me, the biggest challenge facing young people in Kenya today, I would say, would be the growing gap between their potential and the opportunities that are available to them. So, and if you look at it, you'd see that that gap shows up in many different ways. Yes, we have unemployment which is high. That is actually the obvious one, and the cost of living keeps rising, that keeps rising, and it makes it even harder for young people to take risks or invest in their ideas. We also have another aspect of mental health, which is something that is very important for the youth. Mental health is a very important aspect currently in the country, which should actually be addressed. And it's something that often goes unspoken. And a lot of young people are carrying this pressure, and the pressure to provide, maybe the pressure to succeed. And what I would say is that they need to figure life out, which you look at it in terms of I think we were at the point where I was explaining the challenges that we are facing. So
Yes.
if you look at it, I spoke about unemployment, I also spoke about mental health aspects, and also corruption. But if I would look at it, at the biggest expression of these challenges is what I mentioned earlier. That is the mismatch between capability and opportunity. So I would say, maybe I can give an example to be able to support this claim, is that you have, for example, within our department, we have people who are working on different projects. Some are in computer science, some are in computer technology. And maybe that person graduates, is a brilliant computer science graduate, and they end up maybe going to sell mitumba because there are no entry level jobs. And maybe to bring it out clearly, there's nothing wrong with selling mitumba. We actually have millionaires who are actually in this country who are selling mitumba, and they're doing honest business. But I'm trying to look at it in this aspect of the issue here is not about the business, it's about the computer skills. And the many years that he spent, or the graduate spent, in actually doing this computer science course. Maybe he has applied for many internships, he has also applied for job after job, but every place wants experience. So the thing would be, how do you get 3 years of experience when nobody gives you that first chance? And so this person, for example, this computer scientist, he goes on, sells mitumba, and he sells it not because he loves what he do, but he does it for the purposes of survival, which is completely understandable. But over time, you find that he slowly drifts away from his computer science career he trained for, and not because he wasn't good enough, but because the system didn't give him that fair entry point. As we spoke earlier, we spoke about how there are so many, there's that bottleneck when you're getting from the aspect of graduating, going into the job market. So ideally, I would say that he should be able to apply his talent and actually run his mitumba business on the side, so he can actually do both of them comfortably. But right now, I would say the structure forces him to choose survival over the skill that he actually has.
Thank you for those insights, Simon. Thank you. I think my next question will be, which sector do you believe holds the greatest opportunity for the youth?
So that's a very good question, Brandon. And I would say, to be very honest, that all these sectors we usually talk about hold real opportunity for young people. And we have the digital economy, which is that very, very important aspect. We also have agriculture, which remains one of the biggest employers that we have in the country. We also have the green economy, which is actually expanding very quickly. The youth are also looking into the creative industry, which is exploding with new platforms and new talent. And we also have the gig work, which has become a lifeline for many people. And many people actually, young people actually depending on it. So if you ask me which are the biggest spaces right now, I would mention two major ones. The first one is the digital economy. So the digital economy is growing very fast because it doesn't ask you for too much to begin. You have, for example, you don't need land, you don't need capital, much capital for you to get into the digital economy, and you don't need connections. So what you need, I would say maybe is a phone, you need some skills, and you need consistency and need internet access. So digital opens doors in areas you'd say such as content creation. We also have social media management. We have online customer support. We have when you're running a small online shop is also part of the digital economy. We have the design and editing. We also have virtual assistants. We have cloud services and remote work for those who do remote work. So if I could give an example of how the digital economy becomes very powerful, it becomes very powerful in the sense that a young person who is, for example, in a different county, let's say Siaya or Makueni or Garissa, they can be able to access the same digital market as someone in Nairobi. So that is the beauty of the digital economy. The second one I would say is the green economy, which is actually a very big space that we have currently. And this one is big because the whole world is shifting in that direction. So if we can break it very quickly, we have the aspect of climate financing. So basically, climate financing is money that is set aside globally to support activities that help the environment. So it can come maybe from the government, it can also come from international organizations. We have banks, we have development agencies, and we also have private companies. So if you work in tree planting, for example, maybe solar, water conservation, or climate farming, there are funds that are designed for you. Another aspect would be on carbon credits. So what I mean by a carbon credit is it's like a receipt that provides a reduced amount of carbon from the atmosphere. So if you look at it, there are some activities that reduce pollution, for example, like planting trees or using green, you can say using clean energy. And when you reduce pollution, you earn something called a carbon credit. So I was just trying to explain what now the carbon credit aspect about it. So if you look at it, the companies that produce pollution, that is factories, airlines, talk about the big industries, they are required to buy these carbon credits to balance out the emissions. So which means if you look at in the aspect of youth groups, you look at the aspect of farmers, you look at the aspect of communities, they can earn money by protecting the environment. So that's basically, I would say that is basically an explanation of the greatest opportunities as you talked about, Brandon, that the youth currently have.
Yeah, thank you for that. I think that has been comprehensively well put, and also the examples are quite clear as well. So thank you for that. I think moving on to my next question, I would ask, you spoke about some of the government initiatives and policies that they've come up with. So my next question will be, do you think that they're working? Do you think that these youth policies align with what the real, or rather what the youth need at the current moment?
So I would say yes. Looking at it, I would say the policies are actually working because Kenya has strong youth policies. But in practice, you'd say the experience is uneven. And the challenge is in how they are implemented. So if I can give you an example, is that programs like Ajira, maybe projects that we've spoken about, the Talanta Hela, they are usually well designed, but many young people still struggle with issues like poor awareness. You look at aspects of long processes, lack of follow-up support. You also look at limited training providers in some counties, for example, and they have barriers like guarantors or equipment costs, especially when you're looking for support. So the problem per se isn't in the policies themselves. It is how accessible or you'd say coordinated and practical they feel to the youth on the ground. So that is something that we are trying to look at in terms of innovations, and where I would say innovation hubs can come in and help, like the JHUB, the Green Digital Innovation Hub, by translating policy into real opportunities, actually guiding these young people through the processes and ensuring programs actually reach those who actually need them. So I would say, for example, within our ecosystem, we are actually trying to talk to our innovators in terms of IP policies, in terms of protecting the ideas, and relating them to actually the government policies, so that they're actually in line with what is happening.
Yeah, thank you. I think you've also answered my question regarding also some of the youth programs that they currently have. So I think thank you for that. I think my next question will be, how can we bridge the divide between rural and urban youth opportunities?
So in terms of bridging that gap, I would say that there are so many. I would talk about maybe so many opportunities that the youth actually have in terms of what is currently in the market. So in actually trying to bridge that gap, as you may talk about, is that there are so many. I would actually talk about it in terms of three key aspects. There's a practical skill gap, which I would say you leave school, you know the theory and everything, but the market wants someone who can deliver results. So if you can look at it in terms of a business, for example, if you look at the current market, businesses want people who can be able to adapt to what they are doing. So if a business wants a social media manager who can, for example, run a TikTok ad, you don't just explain about market segmentation, what you are learning in school. You need to understand what are the dynamics of the business and the dynamics of being a social media marketer. So that is one aspect I'd look at it. That is the practical skill gap. The next one is on the speed gap. By speed, I mean we have currently technology is moving very fast. With the uptake of AI, the uptake of IoT, machine learning, natural language processing, technology is moving very fast, but unfortunately, curriculum is changing very slow. This is a very big divide that actually needs to be addressed, so that the youth can move to the next level, especially those who are transitioning from school to the job market. So we have aspects such as AI, cloud computing, digital marketing, and the youth actually learn after school, and this one is becoming actually a big problem. So the other aspect I would look at is on the soft skills gap. And if you look at the soft skills gap, is whereby if you look at employers currently, employers, they value communication, they value teamwork, and they value problem solving skills. So these skills are rarely taught in school. And in terms of innovation hub at JHUB, we are trying to bring that into play, whereby we are telling our innovators, you not only need to have the coding skills that you have, you also need to be able to communicate what you are doing. You need to become to work as a team, and that's why we put them into teams of 5 or 4. Each one has their own task that they are doing, and we are making them ready for the market. So as you say, so I think innovation hubs needs to come closer in trying to bridge this gap through practical labs, mentorship, and through hands-on projects. Yeah.
Thank you for that, Simon. I think that's well understood. That's well put out. I think my next question will be: what structural barriers do you think are there that keep youth from accessing decent employment?
Come again?
Sorry, I was asking, what structural barriers do you think are there that keep youth from accessing decent employment?
If you look at the barriers that the youth are actually facing, we have quite a number of barriers that the youth are facing. For example, you can talk about capital, but the biggest obstacle I would talk about is unequal access. So before I talk about capital, let me just give you an example about what I mean by unequal access. So maybe you have, for example, youth who are very talented, but they have very different outcomes. For example, so you find that these are youth. These where they live, whether they have internet, they have network around them, and the schools they attend. So there's that inequality that comes about if you so say. Another aspect, as I was talking about, is about the aspect of capital, which is a huge aspect, as I may say. And what this brings about is that they want to actually achieve something, but because of the lack of funding, it becomes a problem for them. And it's something that we are trying to address, in the sense that we are trying to connect some of the innovators that we have to market industry players who can come in and assist them, not only in the funding, but also in kind, in terms of maybe AI compute services. You can talk about mentorship, such things. So I would say capital and unequal access would be some of the ones that I would say would be some of those obstacles.
Yeah, thank you for that, Simon. And I think building on something that you have said earlier, I would also like to ask, how do you think that we can make entrepreneurship more accessible, affordable, and sustainable for the youth?
I think that's a very, very, very good question, and it's something that we are trying to address here at JHUB Africa, in the sense that maybe I can try and put it into three aspects. One of them would be small capital. So you find that many youth do not need big number, quite a large number of capital, maybe in some of the projects that they're doing. For example, you can find maybe the youth just needs the 20,000 or the 50,000 or the 100,000 that they can use to actually help them in the projects that they're actually doing, in the kind of entrepreneurship role that they're going through. Maybe some require larger amounts of money, but most of the youth just need some kind of boost for them to be able to keep their business going. And I'd say the youth that we have currently, they are actually I'm impressed by what they are doing, because they are quite innovative and they are able to come up with ideas and ways of raising some of this money. So another thing would be in terms of real mentorship. Mentorship is often sidetracked, but I would say mentorship is very important in terms of practical hands-on guidance, so that they can be able to take their entrepreneurial business to the next level. So the next one I would talk about is market access. By market access, meaning the youth need to grow and they need to access the market in one way or another. So as an innovation hub, we try and provide all three of them in terms of capital, in terms of mentorship, and in terms of creating a space for them to be able to, I would say, a space for them to be able to get the actual customers by linking them to the industry. And through this, we can be able to make actually entrepreneurship accessible to our youth.
Thank you for that, Simon. I think let's just expound or rather build on what you have just talked about on entrepreneurship and also expound on that. And from this, I will ask my next question. What improvements would you like to see in Kenya's youth empowerment ecosystem? What overall improvements would you like to see?
So if I may say, in terms of improvements, I would say there is so much that needs to be improved in terms of one of them would be bridging that gap between government and the youth in terms of policies that we have, because if as I said earlier, the policies are there, but we need to actually bridge that gap in the sense that the youth currently, if you look at some of the policies that we have currently within our ecosystem, some may not be favorable for the youth that are there. And it is one aspect that we are trying to lobby in the sense that if, first of all, trying to understand what these policies say, best ways to be able to leverage on some of these policies, and so that the youth can be able to transition into the job market. They can be able to showcase the innovations. They can be able to, if you're working as a social media manager, you need to understand some of the policies that are currently within the country. So understanding these policies will be able to actually help you in terms of the social media marketing that you're doing. If you are an innovator, you can be able to move to the next step, knowing what is needed, what you need to actually do. So I think bridging that gap is a very, very important aspect that we need to look into. And that would be now what I would actually look at in terms of now moving forward.
Thank you for that. I think when we talk about also youth thriving, and also the sustainability around it, we must also factor in the accountability as well. So my next question will be, what accountability measures do you think should be introduced in youth programs, youth initiatives, or anything surrounding youth empowerment as well?
So I think that's a very good question, Brandon, because as I spoke earlier, when we were talking about the three issues, we spoke and said that the youth actually need accountability. And if you look at the accountability measures, I would say that we need to be simple, and we need a transparent system that young people can trust. By that I mean, for example, if you have trained 500 youth using the programs that the government is saying, they're saying we have actually trained 500 youth. We should be able to see how they were selected, for example. That process should be accountable. How much money was spent, and what those youth are bringing the next 6 months. So I think a short, maybe public dashboard showing this information would actually build trust and reduce the feeling that programs disappear behind closed doors. So in terms of accountability, I would say the youth want transparent systems. They want areas whereby they can be able to trust the system. Through accountability, I believe they can be able to trust the system again.
Yeah, thank you for that, Simon. Thank you. I believe from my side, you have coherently and comprehensively answered some of the questions that I had in mind. And so my final two questions, which I believe you can also combine into one question, is you've had a chance to go through the stats, the youth stats, the 3 editions of the youth stats. So my first part of the question will be, what emerging trends should we focus on future youth stats editions? And then the second part of that question is as well, from the youth stat editions that you went through, what insights stood out for you the most and why?
Thank you for those questions, Brandon. If I may answer the first question on, I believe you said that the future youth stats and trends. There's a very big shift happening currently in the country, and we must be able to capture them accurately, in the sense that one of them I would say would be on AI and automation. This is actually changing the job market currently. So that is one of the youth stats trends that you can look out for. The next one would be on youth mental health. So this is something that would actually, if we take focus on this, we would actually be helping our youth in terms of. I recently went for, it's called the Llama Accelerator Program, and there were a number of projects that were being presented, and there was a project that was known as Terabot, that is trying to look at mental health, that can, using AI to actually help either students or anybody who is going through mental health, but it's being done through AI with assistance of actually with a personalized assistance once you've taken it through the AI aspect. So that is another trend that I see. Another one is on climate-driven jobs, which are actually growing fast. Another aspect I would say is in gig and creator economy, which is becoming quite mainstream. We also have skill overtaking degrees. I'm not saying that degrees are not important, but it's also very important that as you graduate or as you move to the job market, you need to have those skills that would actually help you. That is, skills in terms of communication skills, skills that actually that the market actually needs. Not only the technical skills, but also the soft skills, which is also important. The other one I would say would be in country level inequalities widening. That is another aspect I'm seeing, and which going forward I think should be looked at in quite in a broader way. So I believe those are some of the youth stats and trends that I would say are currently I foresee for myself. So I think the other one you spoke about were the insights, if I'm correct, the insights that stand out.
Yes.
Okay. So in terms of the insights, let me talk about two that are actually outstanding, and I would say that the youth are actually ambitious, and the ambition is extremely high, even with challenges, even with trying, with the hustling that they are doing, learning and building. The youth ambition is extremely high. The next one I would say would be the ecosystem is fragmented. By this I mean that the programs actually exist, but they don't speak to each other. What I mean is that the youth must try to jump between office to office. So there has to be that pipeline between the opportunities, between the mentorship, between the funding, that has to be brought to, so maybe I can give an example. Maybe you have a young entrepreneur, they get training in one place, maybe they get funding in another, mentorship somewhere else, and market access somewhere else. So this makes the progress a bit slow, and that's why innovation hubs like ours bring everything together. So we are trying to bring all this together, make sure that the ecosystem is free flowing and is not actually fragmented.
Thank you so much for that. Thank you so much, Simon Mwangi, for that. I believe it has been a very comprehensive, very interesting, very amazing presentation, as well as the answering of the questions. I believe I've also gotten more clarity on top of the youth stats that I've done. Yes, so it has been an amazing presentation. I believe everyone else has also had gained some insights, gained some knowledge. And so now I'd like to open it up to the participants. In case you have any questions or have anything that you'd like to say or ask, kindly do so. Yes, Jerry Omologa, kindly unmute yourself and go ahead.
Thank you so much, Brandon and Simon. I think that one was a very interesting discussion, and especially that it was very much practical. Every youth can resonate with everything you have been saying. I congratulate you for that. My question, therefore, would be that a digital space is presenting great opportunity for youths, but I don't know whether research has been done to know how many youths are able to access internet, how many youths are having the gadgets to access the digital space. Because the reason why I'm asking this is I've seen employers, the way Simon was saying that nowadays also even CV matters a lot. But you see, those youths that are able to use ChatGPT, AI, and these all, don't they have advantage over those who cannot use within the rural areas? So whereas digital space has presented a very big opportunity for the youth, but does it also create inequality? And how can we bridge this gap? Thank you.
So thank you so much, Jerry, for that question. I believe what we can do is basically on awareness. So and I believe awareness has actually been brought about, and it's something that is ongoing. With the uptake, bridging that gap between those who may not understand and those who understand, bridging that gap is very, very important. And I believe, as you've seen, something that I must also applaud what the government is trying to do is in terms of trying to make people aware of what is actually happening. And through programs like the Ajira, through programs like the Talanta Hela, bringing these programs, taking it to the county level, taking it to the level whereby this the youth can be able to access some of these programs, is actually creating this awareness. And I believe as we proceed, and whereby we can have these partnerships, whereby we have the government and we have the public, the private sector coming in, creating this awareness, I'm very sure that we'll be able to bridge that gap. But it's a long hurdle, I must confess. But I'm sure as we proceed and as we move towards ensuring that we take care of the 21st, looking at the 21st century design, I believe we are headed towards that point, and I believe it's something that we'll be able to get to at some point.
Yes, thank you very much for that, Simon. And just to add on to what you have said, and also to try and answer Jerry's question, currently the gDIH is implementing a program called DigiKen. This is Digital Platforms Kenya. So this is a digital literacy program that's going to run across Kenya, and it's going to support youth and women and marginalized persons across Kenya. So we're gonna be focusing on digital skills. We're gonna be focusing on AI trainings. We're gonna be focusing on training programs, also knowledge sharing networks, all of that. So this is just some of the things that we are trying to enhance. We are currently in the piloting phase. We're currently in the early stages. But the gDIH is committed to also bringing out that digital ecosystem development not just for youth, but youth, women, and marginalized persons across Kenya.
So just to add on to what Brandon has said is that the Go Digital, Grow Your Business aspect has that program is being done in conjunction with JHUB Africa, and we are trying to offer AI for business. We have AI for web development. We have digital literacy and analysis, and we also have AI for that is digital marketing. So by giving these skills to small and medium scale enterprises, I would say we are able to bridge that gap and ensure that everyone tries to understand what AI is, and because it's the future. And if you're not using AI, someone else is actually using it, and they're actually automating their daily life, making work easier, automating tasks, and therefore they're able to deliver more. And it's not that AI is going to replace you. AI is going to replace the one who's not conversant with, because AI is like your personal assistant. So, for example, if I'm working using AI, I'm working 2 times faster than a person who's actually not using AI. So that is just something I'm adding towards the creating the awareness and the program that we are trying to work with gDIH to give small and medium scale enterprises those today's digital skills.
Yes, thank you for that addition, Simon. That's quite true. And I think you've also started answering the question on the chat. That is from Cecilia, I believe. She was asking that, do you think recently announced free Google AI Pro access will help the youth engage in innovation activities with low resources?
If you look at that question, the free AI Pro access, I'm sure it's going to be able to help the youth in terms of engagement, in terms of innovation, in the sense that Google has so many new tools that you can be able to use as a result of that. If you look at the AI aspect, I believe it can be able to help them in different ways. For example, it has been able to lower the cost of entry, meaning you can be able to access features such as the Gemini Pro features. You can be able to access without so much subscription, and that is an advantage because it has so many features that you can be able to use. So the other aspect would be enable innovation and creativity. Our youth are actually very innovative, and they have so many ideas. And through this program, they are able to become more innovative by using these AI tools. That is maybe to ideate and validate a business model, for example. They can be able to generate prototypes, visuals that test marketing materials, for example. And another aspect would be building skills relevant for the future. If you want to access state-of-the-art AI, like the one that Gemini has, you can be able to build digital capabilities. That is, for example, AI literacy. We have prompt engineering capabilities, data handling. And I think the other aspect would come in the aspect of access. The fact that Google is giving out this program, it means that the youth will be less will be able to use the resources that they have in a better way, and they are able to catch up. There'll be that connection, as we spoke about earlier, in terms of the ones who don't have access and those who have access. But if you're able to give all of them access to these free tools, I'm sure they're able to, for example, innovate, come together, and move forward as I may say.
Thank you, Simon.
I've answered you, Cecilia.
Yes, I was just about to ask Cecilia if we hope that she's Alvin, kindly go ahead and ask your question.
Hello. Hello, everyone. My name is Eliali Alvin from Viga County. So my question is, rural youths often prioritize manual work and are skeptical of online gigs or digital trainings. What strategies can effectively shift this mindset and build trust so that they can benefit from emerging digital opportunities? That's my question.
So,
I hope I was loud and clear.
yeah, come again. I didn't quite get it correctly.
Rural youths are often prioritizing manual works and are skeptical of online gigs or digital trainings. What strategies can effectively shift this mindset and build trust so that they can benefit from emerging digital opportunities?
So I believe the youth actually, if you look at what the youth are currently trying to do, we can be able to bridge that gap in the sense that through, for example, hubs, hubs like, for example, JHUB through the Green Digital Innovation Hub, we are trying to bring about that awareness of the youth using not only using aspects such as AI, such as IoT, such as machine learning. They can actually use this to benefit themselves, and the youth have so many ideas, and these ideas can only be harnessed through mentorship, through maybe innovations like innovation hubs, as I said before. And through this, I'm sure they can be able to move to the next level in the sense that with the uptake of AI has been able to shift from what you actually been doing manually to actually becoming your assistant. And through ways such as prompt engineering, ways that you can be able to actually learn and be able to actually prompt or your AI that you use. For example, if you're using AI tools such as ChatGPT, whichever is it Grok, whichever I would say AI tool that you use, you can use it in a way that it can be actually be able to be beneficial to you in terms of assisting in ideas, becoming innovative, that can be able to actually move you to the next level.
Yeah, thank you, Simon. And I think also to add on to what you have just said, I think we can also include certain strategies such as co-creation as well. So if there's initiatives, if there's anything that is currently up in a digital program, I think having a participatory sort of design around it, such that you come to the rural youth and say, we are trying to do this, come and help us make sure that it lifts off well, make sure that it works well. So inclusion also means that they'll be able to trust the process. They know the process from start to finish, and it'll be something that they'll be able to engage in seamlessly. And also another thing is that when you go to the rural areas, sometimes you don't just arrive there and start doing what basically what you want to do, what is intended. You also have to sort of get a feel of the ground, such as the culture, maybe languages, because such things such as language barriers heavily affect the progression of projects. So getting a feel of the ground and then also understanding the cultures, understanding the local languages first, before also trying to include or start something is also quite important. I'd say something else is also the affordability and accessibility point of view. By whatever you're doing, it has to be affordable. Whatever you're doing, it has to be easily accessible, because sometimes there might not be, let's say, bundles. Bundles might be scarce. Maybe weather conditions might affect the participants from reaching their maybe the station where the training is supposed to happen. So how can we do that? Maybe move it online, maybe become hybrid understanding of situations. So these are just some of the structures or rather strategies that we can use to also ensure that. Alvin, I hope we have answered your question.
Yes, Thank you.
So I think now I'd like to bring this webinar to a close. I'd like to appreciate our main speaker and guest of honor as well, Mr. Simon Mwangi from JHUB Africa. This has been really amazing. The insights have been really great, and also some of the many ways forward that we can also collaborate, as well as also ensure that the youth are they are involved in the future development of many great things to come ahead. So I'd just like to say thank you, and maybe if you have any last words to say, Simon, kindly go ahead.
So thank you so much, Brandon, and thank you for organizing this very important session on youth stats and trends. And I believe we'll have many more, I would say, discussions or webinars in terms of the trends. Maybe have now the fourth issue eventually. And I would say maybe as a takeaway is that the Kenyan youth are not short of ideas, as what we have seen actually in the ecosystem that we have at JHUB. We've seen there's so many youth who are ambitious, who want to propel their ideas to the next level, and we are creating a space whereby they can be able to grow, a space whereby they can be able to harness their ideas. And I would say they are ambitious, the youth are ambitious and resilient, and we should look at it in terms of systems that work. That would be something that is very important. We can use looking at data to guide action, to guide policy, to guide collaboration. And we are not, for us as JHUB, we're not just describing the future. We are actually building it currently. So thank you so much for this opportunity. I hope for more webinars in future. And I hope that the youth actually get an opportunity to be able to showcase their ideas, to be able to showcase what they can be able to do. And I'm sure we'll be able to get a good country as a result. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Simon. And thank you to our participants for joining in and listening in throughout the whole webinar. I wish you guys a happy weekend, a safe and happy weekend, and thank you very much from the gDIH and from JHUB. Thank you very much for everyone.
So, thank you so much, Brandon.